Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the circus. My name is Nareve, and today we are continuing on the 110-101 series. And with that, I'm going to jump right into professions. Now, here are the things that you need to know. 1. All professions now don't have to be gone level by level through each zone and leveled. It's not necessary. You can just do realistically everything within the current content, which is Legion. What I mean by that is you can just pick up mining level 1 right out the gate, and you can start mining nodes within the Legion areas. Now, I'm not 100% sure on if it still works like this, but last expansion, the way that it would happen is you would get little fragments, and it would be like 10 fragments from each node would equal 1 ore. That way you're not just getting tons of ore. However, I don't know that it still does that. But what I will say is that it's a really good way to start getting your quests done early because, as I stated in the last video, it is super imperative that all of your quests for professions be done. Now, I'm going to start with the main professions. You got like your blacksmithing, your tailoring, leatherworking, jewel crafting, enchanting, so on and so forth. The ones where you're actually crafting items, making items, not just gathering, right? Because it breaks down to you have your primary professions, like your main ones that are crafting, which I just mentioned. Then you have your secondary, or like your skinning professions, your skinning, your mining, and your herbalism. And then you have like your tertiary professions, which are going to be like your archaeology, your fishing, your cooking, your first aid. Now, I decided to, this expansion, start leveling cooking and first aid, archaeology, and I was going to do fishing. I literally cast like 3 or 4 times and was like, nope, fuck this. So, I will say this much. Cooking and first aid, currently, since Legion did just launch, are actually super cheap to level, and here's why. You can just make silkweave bandages, realistically. I made these old stuff from Draenor that I just had a bunch of the materials lying around, right? Sumptuous fur, I was sitting on, I think, like a little over 1,000 sumptuous fur. So I just made that because I was getting 5 levels out of each one. But realistically, you can just make silkweave bandages. And because these materials are so cheap, I'll actually go down to the auction house. These materials are so cheap that it doesn't cost hardly anything. To get my cooking to 715 and my first aid to 746 that it's at right now, I've spent maybe 1,000 gold. Not that much. So it's a super easy and cheap thing to level. Good example. So bear tartare. You're looking at these fatty bear steaks, right? Okay, it would help if I click the right button, huh? Fatty bear steaks are going for like 28 silver a piece. That is chump change. When you're looking at buying, 5, 6, 700 of them, you're looking at maybe like 30, 40 gold. It's realistically not that much. Okay, well, probably more than that, probably closer to like 150, 200 gold. But still, you're making more than that in Legion by now, I'm hoping. And then things like river onion or the royal olives, the flake sea salt, things like that, they all come from a vendor in Dalaran that I will show you in just a moment. Super main point to what I'm saying, cooking is really easy to level, and you want to get on that pretty quickly as well. Just because it comes back down to getting those quests done and starting your what do you want to call it, research in Dalaran, and that way you can get the upgrades for each recipe. Now, next thing that I want to talk about before I jump into more about the main professions is archaeology. I've stated before that I'm a huge fan of rare mounts. I like the rare mounts because they make me happy. Here's the thing. Right now, archaeology is super easy to level because you can just go out to the Broken Isles and go to like Stormheim, and you'll notice the nodes are substantially smaller than previously, and thus you get them done a lot quicker. Tonight alone is, I started my archaeology tonight. I've been going for probably about 3 hours. Don't know why I clicked that. probably 3 hours, and I'm already at 375. I did preemptively buy some boxes that I kind of regret now. These ones right here. Didn't realize you had to be Archaeology 600 to use them, so they're just sitting in my bank now, which I'm not a fan of. But I also have these restored artifacts. Now, I know what you're thinking, what are these? Well, currently the way that it works is, unlike, when Archaeology first came out in the beginning of, Cataclysm, you no longer make cool items, right? So before it'd be like a 12-year artifact, you had a chance at creating like a gray item that would sell for 1 gold or 5 gold. Some sold for 10 gold. There was a few that sold for 100 and 150. I believe there's even a couple 500s and 1,000 gold gray items that you could make, as well as the rare items that you would get just from the possibility of it happening. Now, unfortunately, it just takes a whole lot of materials to make one item that you turn into these restored artifacts. They sell for literally 1 gold, the items do, or you can just turn them into a restored artifact. But here's the cool thing. These restored artifacts, when taken to Brand Bronzebeard, or realistically anyone that's one of the archaeology people in any of the expansions, will turn into crates of whatever artifact style you want. I personally go for 12-year because there are a few items there that are high ticket value that I'm really looking for. One of them is the Ultramarine Battle Tank, which is a blue version of the Kiraji Battle Tank that can be ridden anywhere. And the other one is the Crawling Claw. That is a pet that sells for extortion. Last time I got one, I sold it for 80,000 gold. It is insane. So that's Archaeology in a nutshell now. It is pretty easy. Like I said, you just go to these small areas. I will say this one right here at the top of at the tip of the harbor right here, I avoid that one as often as I can. That is a last case scenario, just because there's a high density of mobs, and I don't really like having to fight for my nodes. It's not something that I enjoy. I will say also, you did see correctly, there is a high mountain tribe. However, currently, the way that it's working is there is a 2-week rotation. It'll be 2 weeks of Stormheim, 2 weeks of High Mountain, and switching off. I'm not 100% sure that that's true. That is just what I've read. And considering I've gotten nothing but Stormheim, I am inclined to think that is correct. If you're wondering why I have one artifact from High Mountain, when I first started leveling in Legion, I did go and get one in High Mountain, but ultimately kept questing. It's like literally the first day, there was some in High Mountain, and then after that they were all in Stormheim. So now that I've talked about kind of what I'm doing with Archaeology and everything, and kind of why, the methods to madness and why it is that I'm leveling these things, I'll move on to the main professions. Now, I am obviously a blacksmith and a miner. You'll notice that these aren't going very high. It's super frustrating right now leveling mining. I will say, while you're leveling your mining, the regular laystone, ore, and felslate and stuff have officially stopped giving me XP for leveling. Luckily, level doesn't dictate the amount or the quality of what you're getting anymore, so it doesn't really matter your level, but if you're an achievement hunter, you're going to be sitting a while before you get your professions all the way maxed. Blacksmithing, again, I cannot stress enough the necessity to do your quests for professions. You can't get Demon Steel bars, you can't get any of this stuff. Until you do those, you can't get your relics, right? I was lucky enough to get Flame Spike and Terror Spike already, which is a whole nother issue. Well, I shouldn't say issue, but it's a whole nother side of the coin that you have to keep in mind. Every profession that I'm noticing has, actually I'll just go to dollar on now, every single profession that I have run into so far definitely has certain patterns that can only be tamed through the acquiring of an ancient coin. The ancient coin is right here. Oh, sorry, curious coin. Through a curious coin. I was lucky in the second day that I had my profession to a point where I could do stuff. The second day that I was working on my professions, I did get a curious coin from a world quest drop, reference to my last video, emissary quest, my main hub things. I did get it out of there, and I was really lucky You bring it to this guy, your curious coin comes to this guy, and oh, look at that, here's a recipe for pretty much everyone. A leatherworking recipe for a toy, an engineering thing for a, looks like some sort of something, as descriptive as that is. And then like different relics that you can get through this. I will say on a quick side note, this guy does get different items. Today he has the Moda Light for 50 curious coins. Yesterday he had turtle mount for 150, so on and so forth. So there will be a reason to have these after you get the initial item, but that makes it, if you get these, Flame Spike right now is a super sought after item, and I was able to sell for 10,000 gold. I was able to sell one, and I didn't even provide the mats. I had somebody bring me the Brimstone and the Demon Steel. I just provided the fact that I had the mat and the 8 Blood of Sargeras that I used, and I was able to turn that into a quick 10k profit for somebody. So as you can see, there's definitely potential there. But again, get those quests done. I can't stress that enough, and I will continue to say that. Always do your quests. I can't speak for all the professions so far, but I will say as a generalized statement that it's pretty easy to be making gold right now, right? Demon Steel is going for a high amount. I'm super happy that all the gathering professions seem to be doing really well for making gold, right? Your fell slates and stuff are going for like 50 gold a piece, not a stack, a piece. Demon Steel is going for some pretty high amounts just because, again, a lot of people can't make them yet, so they're buying them. Realistically, the beginning of an expansion is the time that you want to pounce on making as much money as you can. I've been lucky, gotten a couple BOE epic drops that I've been able to sell. Overall, this expansion, I have made probably about 250k. It is currently, I don't know, like the 9th of September. Now here's what I was talking about with the cooking guy. Here's Nami, or Nomi, however you pronounce it. He is going to be the cooking profession guy. You come to him and you can turn in stuff for researching higher recipes, right? So I'll give him, like, I don't know, 5 fatty bear steaks, start a work order. And as you can see, I have a work order here completed. I'll click on this and I will get badly burnt food. This happens entirely too much. I will turn in 3 to 4 different recipes and get badly burnt food and 1 recipe. I'm not sure if that's how it's supposed to be or what. Kind of frustrating. So that's why, again, get on early, because you're not going to get everything done very quickly. But once you do start getting stuff, for food, you get rank 1 making it, rank 2 make it so you get more in each time, rank 3 getting the most out of your ingredients. So I think it'll up it. It goes from 5 to 7 to, I believe, 10 for the max rank. So you're making literally double at max rank, which is pretty nice, especially when you're making, some of the higher end raiding food later on. That will be selling. Raids come out, I believe, next week, and so that will be something that you can make money on, which means in the next week, the professions that are going to be making the most money are going to be enchanting. Everyone needs enchants with new gear. Jewel crafting, everyone needs new gems. Alchemy, everyone needs potions and elixirs and flasks. And then, of course, cooking. Everybody needs their raid food. So these are just some things that I want you to keep in mind when trying to make money. If you're going for a profession that you just want to make money on, I have said it once before and I will say it again, forever, for always. The professions that always seem to make money for me are going to be your enchanting, your jewel crafting, and then things that have transmogs, like blacksmithing. If you are just starting a profession, don't try to go for something like blacksmithing for making money, just for the simple fact of it's not feasible currently. I'm not saying it can't be done, but the market has to be just primed in order for you to make it. So I can sell some demon steel bars and everything. I could, in theory, buy, say, a stack of fell slate and a stack of laystone ore, make a ton of demon steel bars, and then make, let's say, 1 flame spike and then 1 demon steel gauntlets in order to sell those, and then sell the rest of the bars. that would be a good way to make money, but currently the market, in my opinion, is not stable enough to do that. Now here's another thing. You'll notice that there's a quest that you're going to pick up. Normally you'll pick it up from right here. There's going to be a little burning cart. I deleted it out of my bags because I was getting frustrated with just having it in there. You can come to her and you'll see that you need silk weave bracers, leather bracers, demon steel bracers, and then the other armbands from leatherworking. So you need the leather ones and the male ones. And so for that reason alone, demon steel arm guards are going for extortion. You're looking at 12 to 15k. However, transversely, they're not cheap to make, right? 55 demon steel bars, that's 110 fell slate and 55 laystone ore. The fell slate alone at 55 gold apiece, or 50 gold apiece, that's, 5,000 gold for just that. And storm scales are going for a pretty equivalent amount realistically. So there's, again, it comes back down to your profit margin just isn't necessarily there. With all this being said, kind of a recap, go ahead and get your quest done. I'm going to say that once more before the video's done, I promise. Archaeology, if you like rare things, do it. It's fun. It kills time if you got nothing else to do. Again, realistically, it's not for money or for even pleasure because, oh my god, is it annoying. But it's a really good way to obtain some rarer items in the game. I will say there is a pretty sweet moose mount that I don't actually remember the name of, but it's from Archaeology, and it's like a spectral moose. Let's see if I can quickly find it. Nope, fuck it. So there's a pretty sweet spectral moose mount that's going to be coming out that you can get. Other than that, yeah, just keep doing your professions, leveling them up, doing your quests, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!